Have you ever had an experience that you just didn't want to end? Maybe it was a family vacation, camping in the summer, something like that, or maybe a crush, and you gazed longingly into their eyes and you said, "I just wish this moment would never end." That's what happens in this Sunday's gospel. Not the gazing into the lover's eyes, but a moment that the disciples hoped would never end. Here we are cruising through Lent, and we are continuing to hear about the life of Jesus through the Gospel of Luke. And this is an event that we call the Transfiguration, the transformation of Jesus, the changing of figure, Transfiguration. Okay, it takes place on a mountaintop. He's taking with him three really important apostles, Peter, James, and John. All right, here we go. This is a reading from the Gospel according to St. Luke. Glory to you, O Lord. Jesus took with him Peter and John and James and went up on the mountain to pray. And while he was praying, the appearance of his face changed, and his clothes became dazzling white. And suddenly they saw two men, Moses and Elijah, talking to him. They appeared in glory and were speaking of his departure, which he was about to accomplish at Jerusalem. Now Peter and his companions were weighed down with sleep, but since they had stayed awake, they saw his glory and the two men who stood with him. Just as they were leaving him, Peter said to Jesus, "Master, it is good for us to be here. Let's make 3 dwellings, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah," not knowing what he said. While he was saying this, a cloud came and overshadowed them, and they were terrified as they entered the cloud. Then from the cloud came a voice that said, "This is my Son, my chosen. Listen to him." When the voice had spoken, Jesus was found alone, and they kept silent, and in those days told no one anything of the things that they had seen. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Maybe you've had the experience of literally being on top of a mountain. I love being on top of the mountains. Fantastic. I love getting up into the high places where nobody else goes, seeing the incredible beauty around me. Literally making it to the summit of a peak where you can see the summits of all the other peaks around you. It's an amazing, amazing thing. But we can have these experiences too where, maybe we're with people that we love, and we're laughing, and we're sharing food together, and we're making memories and silliness, and it's just so good for our hearts, and we were like, I just don't want this moment to end, Maybe we have that with someone that we have really special feelings for, someone that we love deeply, and we want to be with them, and we don't want it to end. And that's what Peter, James, and John are feeling at this moment. So they see these 2 other men appear with Jesus, and everybody's glowing. Okay, they're all transfigured into this glory of God, this bright, shining light. And they recognize that it's Moses and Elijah. Now you might remember Moses, I'm sure you remember from the 10 Commandments. Moses in this represents the Jewish law. And Elijah was the greatest of all of the prophets. And he represents the prophets. The Old Testament is kind of divided into those 2 major categories. Okay, the law and the prophets. And here we have the law and the prophets along with Jesus, who is now the culmination, the combination of the law and the prophets. He's fulfilling all of this. Everything leading up to his time. This is all the Old Testament. All these stories and prophecies, people leading up to the presence of Jesus on earth. And now Jesus is fulfilling the law and the prophets. And Peter and James and John are like, "This is amazing. We got to build a house here, okay? Tents. We got to build a holy place. We need to make this a place to remember." And then the glory of God comes in the form of this cloud. And it comes over them, and they get really scared. But they hear the voice of God saying, "No, this is Jesus. This is my chosen. He has a role to fulfill. And you are going to walk with him through this." And in this whole experience, these three apostles get the strength and the grace of this mountaintop experience to now go down the mountain into the valleys where they head towards the crucifixion of Jesus. And we can have these big experiences as well, right? But these experiences are like, they're peaks, they're fleeting, okay? God meets us on the mountaintop experiences, but he walks with us into our valleys. He gives us grace on these mountaintop experiences, good memories, strength, okay? And then he comes with us into the harder places. Sometimes it's just the plains, right? Sometimes it's just the glorious grind, as I like to call it, but sometimes it's really low. And these experiences, the mountaintop experiences, are intended to give us strength for the low times. So he meets us on the mountain and then walks with us into the valley. And that's Lent, our journey with God right now. Down into the valley as we walk with Jesus towards his crucifixion. And ultimately, the ultimate mountaintop experience is resurrection. God bless you guys.